Hello fellow colorists, welcome to the channel. It's Jody here and you have reached the channel JI Colorist. Today we are celebrating Elephant Appreciation Day, which is coming up this week. It's September 22nd. So I just thought I'd take a quick look at some of the elephants that I have colored in my book, and then we will complete a page from a new book on a realistic animal. So the next animals that I have colored are, I did two from A Million Cute Animals, and I did one with some washi tape as my, I'm calling my circus page. And then there's another one. For some reason, the hauler animals, elephants have big puff balls on their head, and this one is riding in a boat. So two very unrealistic colored animals or elephants there. And then we have Disney Dreams Collection, Thomas Kincaid, and I have done Dumbo. So we've got Dumbo here from Disney and a couple of circus elephants there. My next one is Elephant from Joanna Bassler's World of Wonders, and it's the elephant carrying balloons page, and I think that's cute. Getting a little bit more realistically colored here. Now a couple of PDFs I have. This one is a PDF of that I did this year as a buddy color, and it is Dumbo. And then we've got a pink elephant here, and those are all the colored elephants that I have done so far. So far I have not colored any realistic animals, so then I thought I would look in Fragile World to see if there was an elephant there, and indeed there is. And I'll just read you the section from here. In fact, I'll zoom you in so you can see it for yourself. But Asian elephants are endangered. They are made up of 3 subspecies. Asian elephants inhabit forests and grasslands across South and Southeast Asia. These large mammals feed on grass, bark, roots, and leaves, which help to maintain the forest habitat they live in. However, their favorite foods are cultivated crops, such as bananas and sugar canes. Their biggest threat to survival is habit loss and fragmentation. So there is just a little bit of information on the Asian elephants which are endangered. And now we're going to switch to that page, and I'm going to show you how I colored it. Here we are. I am doing the elephant page from Fragile World by Kerby Rosanes, and I have just started. I have been using my Albrecht Durer watercolor pencils to start the background. So I have used the juniper green on the very bottom, which is a darker green. Then I've moved to the lighter green, which is earth green yellowish. I'm going to zoom you in a bit. And then we've gone to the next, which is dark cadmium yellow in this area. Moving up next to the cadmium orange. And then we have the dark cadmium orange. And then at the very top, there's a few pale geranium lake along the top. So we've done that on all of the sides. I'll zoom you out. So that's the background. I wanted it to be bright, deep in the jungle, yet nice and bright sky. So I will do a little bit more, and then I activated it with my Tombow water-based blender pen, and that way it keeps the water down to a minimum and there's no bleed through on the back side. So that's how we're starting this picture out. We're going to do I'll finish off by doing another layer of dry Albrecht Durer watercolor pencils just to deepen up some of the areas, and then we will start on the main picture. So I keep my pencils fairly blunt because there's no need to have a sharp edge, and I'm just going to darken up the very bottoms where the most shadow would be. Since this is the jungle area. And I will do an overview talking. I'm going to go over a few interesting items regarding elephants. So I thought that would be kind of fun to learn a bit more about this huge mammal. So there, that's just deepening up the colors a little bit, and I don't need to reactivate it. I can, if I don't wish to. Okay, well, I continue off camera with this. We'll be back. Moving on to the main elephant in the picture, I have pulled out two Derwent Graphitint pencils, number 14 Russet and number 15 Cool Brown. Cool Brown is a darker brown, so I'm doing an overall coloring of the Russet, which is a lighter brown because this is an Asian elephant, and so it is brown or gray, and so I've chosen this one to be brown. And then I'm coming in and darkening up the shadowed areas with the Cool Brown, and then I will activate this whole area. So first just going to do an overall, and because I'm going to activate it, I don't need to be super neat with my coloring. I just need to be coloring light so it's not gouging the paper and making any harsh digs that won't be easily dissolved. And I'm going to use the Equaline water-based blender pen to activate it. Give my Tombow blender pen a little rest. So I'll activate a little bit with you here to see. So I'll just zoom you in a bit. And I'll start. So just in nice circles. Activate it, and when I do have the darker color blending in, I usually try and activate all the lighter colored areas first, and then the darker area. And then I can also wipe the blender off in between if I've done a bunch of dark, like this here is dark. So I'll activate all that, and then I'll wipe it off on a piece of paper. So I'll keep doing this over the whole page. And I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, I have done one coat or layer of graphite, the Derwent Graphitint, which is water-soluble graphite pencils on the elephant. And I will now let this dry so that the paper is totally cool to the touch, and I will then deepen up the colors. I will use the graphitint again, and I'll also pull in some polychromos to darken up some areas and give some more definition and smooth it out a little bit. I'm also going to add some green, obviously, where there is foliage on the elephant. And yeah, I'm happy with how this is turning out so far. I'll zoom you totally out. This is how the page is going. So I'm going to leave it here for today. Give myself a little break, and I'll be back shortly. So here we are back after I have completed a couple of layers of the Derwent Graphitint. I have taken the lighter brown and deepened up a bunch of the areas where there's shadows, and did another coat basically all over. So I'm pretty happy with the how the elephant is looking. I'm really happy with the background, and I'm enjoying using both the Graphitint and the Albrecht Durer watercolors on this page. So I think I'm actually going to skip the polychromos for now and continue on with the Albrecht Durer and the Graphitint and work on the foliage and the trees next. There's also a bunch of cute little monkeys up here, so I'll have to do a little bit of research to find out what color those monkeys should be. This is an Asian elephant, so I will have to see if there's specific colors for that. Otherwise, I'll just wing it and give them a color that I think works for this picture. So far, really happy. I used the 2 different greens that I had already used lower on the page for the foliage. So I'll just zoom you in a little bit so you can see that I've just used the darker green for like behind as a shadow in certain areas, and then the lighter green on top. And I did that for all of the foliage throughout the page. So enjoying how this is going so far, and I will be back with a little bit more progress. So I have completely colored in all of the greenery, and everything is still dry, and I thought I would bring you along for the activation. So I've been activating it with 2 different water-based blender. One is the Ecoline blender and one is the Tombow water-based blender. So I will just use the Tombow one for now, and I'll zoom you in a little bit, and I'll show you how I've been activating this. And I'll also give you a few facts about about Asian elephants. And Asian elephants are different from African elephants, and this is a Asian elephant. So I did some little Google searching to find a few facts. I'm just first activating all of the light green areas, and then I will wipe off the tip and then activate the darker green. Okay. So an adult bull, which would be a male Asian elephant, can weigh over 5,000 kilos. So, and a kilo is a metric measurement, and it is 2.25 pounds per kilo. So that means that animal is huge, absolutely huge. So the size of this animal is absolutely huge, which makes sense. Another fact is that I thought was kind of strange that I guess it's interesting, that's why they had it on there, but let me read it. It said, Asian elephants have one more toenail on each foot than an African elephant. So I'm like, so does that mean they have an extra toe or just an extra toenail? It kind of got me a little bit puzzled, so thought that was kind of interesting, unusual. Just activating the darker green this time first, since I already have the dark green on the tip. Really enjoying using the water-based mediums on this paper and activating it with the blenders. I have some construction going on outside, so I've been taking breaks and not filming as much as I normally would with this because it's a little bit noisy. I'm having a wheelchair ramp added to the front of my house, so I apologize if there's any banging noises. Okay, and another fact is that these Asian elephants drink up to 2,000 liters of water per day. And there are 4 glasses of water in 1 liter. So if you're trying to figure out a liter, so that's an awful lot of water. But they are awfully large animals, so it makes sense that they would need that much water to sustain them. Okay, that's how that looks once it's all zoomed back out. So these are activated versus this down here is not. So there isn't a big difference, so you can leave these dry if you want. But I do like to activate them. It just gets rid of the white of the paper and makes it look a little bit richer. So I'll continue activating these areas down here, and then we'll come back and we'll do some of this greenery down here together and learn a little bit more about this endangered animal. Okay, here's how the foliage is looking fully activated. I've also added a little bit of glossy accents to the 2 eyes, and I was reading about the elephants, and because I was looking at its head thinking, holy moly, that's a huge head, and it does actually have the largest brain of any land animal. So this animal is just massive, and looks beautiful. Looks also like I wouldn't want to meet up with it in a dark alley. So it's very impressive. So I have been using the Albrecht Durer grays. I've been using Cold Gray 2 and Cold Gray 4 to do the stonework and the stairs. So I've been just doing an overall light coating of the lighter color gray. So that's the 2. And then for the shaded areas, coming in with the Cool Gray 4. Cold Gray 4. And just giving the shadows a little bit of definition, and then activating it again. And then if I want to have a little bit of extra definition, just coming in with the Cold Gray 4 and then not activating it and just leaving it darker. I'll zoom you in a little bit. So this has a little bit more than this one, so you can kind of see that this has a bit more definition. So I will come in and add some, and then I think I will leave it dry, and because I like how that looks. For the bottom area here, instead of just having a bunch of dark green foliage, I'm going to bring in some of the red and the orange from up top on top down into here. So just a couple of these of the odd looking leaves, I will do them in orange, and the rest will be in the dark green. And I will even see if I have a bit of a darker green. So I can do this pine green just so that the bottom is extra dark. So I will bring that in as well. line. Here is how it is looking, the foliage down below. I'll just zoom you out a little bit. So I've activated it, and this time I used the fine tip end for the really small blades of grass, and then the larger end for that. And so I've kind of got a mix of greens over here. I really like how that kind of looks almost a little bit fuzzy and out of focus, but it isn't one straight color. It's got all three greens mixed in, and I'm liking how that's turning out. So I'll keep going on this, and I'll update you. I'll finish off this area here. The tusks are done already in the light gray, so that's cold gray 2. And I'll just, after the foliage is done, then the only things left are these 4 monkeys up top. So I will figure out how to color those, and we'll be back to finish the monkeys. Okay, we are here to finish off the page. I looked up the monkeys, I looked up Asian monkey, and most of them look to be light brown with a bit of red and white on them. So I'm going to approach that. I'm going to take a reddish brown and a little bit of a lighter brown, and so it looks like a reddish brown on the top, and they've got some light on their chest, so I'll do we'll do that, and we're using the Albrecht Durer watercolor pencils again. And then I will use Tombow marker. Okay, monkey here. So the darker, the redder brown on the back of him, and then the lighter brown and this time I'll do his tail a little bit lighter. And to get his tail, since it's so fine, I'm going to use the tip. In fact, I'll use the tip on all of this. And wipe it off. Okay. Okay, final look at our elephant from Fragile World. September 22nd is Elephant Appreciation Day, so I am doing this segment in appreciation of elephants, and this is my 4th completed page in this book, and it is the Asian elephant. And I read you the section earlier about this Asian elephant and the endangered nature of the species. He is a magnificent animal, and I am glad that I colored it today with you. I hope you have a colorful and creative week, and until next video, take care. Bye-bye.